Hey guys, it's Mindy, and I know it has been a little while since I have posted a video, but hopefully I shall be getting on here a little bit more often now. Things are starting to quiet down. Most of you know that I had a bit of a accident. In April, my cat accidentally scratched the living shit out of me, and my hand, I don't know if you can tell, but right here and right there are the scars that I will have for the rest of my life. The ones on this hand are not nearly as bad. You might not even be able to see them. There's one right there, and there's some up here too. Anyway, I survived. Long story short, I was out of commission from work for a little bit, and I got backed up ridiculously over the amount of time that I was gone. I couldn't catch up with my work. Slowly yet surely, I will manage to start getting back to making videos more often. Today, I am going to be doing a review for you of the book The Bees by Laline Paull. I wanted to talk a little bit about this book because when I picked it up from my library, I had heard a couple things around about people who had bought it but not yet read it. And I think a lot of people were misguided to what this book is actually about. I know I definitely was misguided. What I had heard was that it was similar to The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins and The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Now, both of those are kind of dystopias. My impression of The Bees was that this was going to be about humans living as bees, essentially, kind of like in a caste system to where there's a queen and then there's the worker bees and everything. Well, that's not what the book is about. The book itself is actually about bees and the inner workings of the hive. The book focuses on the main character, which is Flora 717. She is born as a worker bee in the lowest level in the caste, which is the sanitation workers. As the book progresses, Flora and others start to realize that she's definitely more than just a sanitation worker. She is able to do a lot more than she's meant to. For starters, she talks, which obviously the bees in this book are sentient beings, but the sanitation bees are usually mute. Flora herself, she actually talks, which is uncommon, and she's allowed to try out a different position as a sage, which is a bee that cares for the larva and feeds the larva. Well, as the book progresses, things happen, and she's also allowed to try out a couple of different positions within the caste system of the hive. She's allowed to try out foraging, and she's allowed to try out a couple of other things, which I will not spoil. But point being, as the book makes her out to be this super special, unique individual bee who is able to do all of these things. And later on in the book, she ends up also laying eggs. Well, in the hive, only the queen is allowed to lay eggs, and it's almost like a religion, and they worship the queen. Well, Flora lays eggs, and there's things that happened, obviously. I'm not going to tell you because that would be spoiling it. That being said, she's not supposed to be laying eggs, and it's something where if she's found out, they could kill her. I thought that the aspect of the worker bees kind of worshipping the queen and everything was really interesting. The actual science behind this book, for those who don't know, I was actually really interested in entomology at one point and wanted to be an entomologist. But the actual science behind this book is pretty solid from what I remember about bees. The caste system, obviously, the worker bees are divided into a couple of different sub-areas. There's the foragers, the guards, the bees that produce the nectar for the larva, and the queen bee, obviously, as well. But what bothered me kind of about this book was the fact that they kind of made Flora out to be this super special bee because she's laying eggs, when that is actually called the laying worker bee phenomenon. It's not really a phenomenon because it happens quite often. I think it's like once in every 10,000 bees or something. But the whole book kind of made it out to where she was so unique when there was probably another bee in the hive somewhere who was able to do the same thing. It just made it didn't address the fact that that actually happens, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. I was a bit let down with the actual plot of the story. I was excited about reading about the caste system in the Hive and also about the kind of religion toward the queen, and I thought that it could have been developed a little bit better. The story itself was kind of bland at points for me. I ended up giving the book 3 out of 5 stars, but overall I think it was pretty good. If you're just reading this because you heard it was like the Hunger Games or like the Handmaid's Tale, I'd probably not even bother. If you're interested in insects and you're interested in bees or would like to read something with a caste system, I definitely recommend this book. But otherwise, I don't know what else to say. If you've read this book, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think, and if you're planning on reading it, let me know. And I hope this was a very informative video. So I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.